over the past week, interesting news started coming in, especially with regard to COVID-19. There emerged an interesting trend that men were more likely to die from COVID-19, and this left scientists with the question, why? Now, it has not been a secret that COVID-19 does discriminate, especially people with underlying medical conditions and people of old age, and data has actually shown this. But it is now emerging that indeed the virus also seems to also discriminate by sex. Now, some of the latest data from the UK Office of National Statistics seem to be supporting this hypothesis, but indeed more men than women are likely to die from COVID-19 according to an article by The Guardian. Also, it is worth noting that this trend has not only been identified in the United Kingdom, but has also been mirrored in France, Germany, Iran, Italy, and South Korea. But then the question becomes, why men? So, according to this article by The Guardian, they know that there is no conclusive answer, but some ideas have been introduced, and some of them include, let's say, like one, smoking. In a study that was published last month, it found that smokers actually made up 12% of those with less severe symptoms, but 26 of them ended up in intensive care or died. Now, it is worth noting that smoking also acted as an avenue for infection. We will put the link for this study at the description below. Now, the conclusion to this, they seem to be generalized, and data seems to vary from one country to another, but there's still one common factor. This is men seem to have a high representation in the COVID-19 statistics. Therefore, another idea comes. So, some studies seem to suggest that men may not initiate an appropriate response when the body initially sees the virus. This also according to this article by The Guardian. So many genes that regulate the immune system are found on the X chromosome, and with regard to this, men have one while women have two. Therefore, it is possible that some genes important in immune response are more in women than in men, and this might not also be the sole reason for the data that we're getting about men having a high affinity to this virus, because other factors include like lifestyle, biology, behavioral issues are also factors. And in addition, the data that we're getting may be further clarified as more studies are done according to this. Just don't get crazy yet. We are seeing that women heads of state seem to be doing better in managing this corona pandemic than men. Yes, it is actually happening. So countries like Taiwan, Germany, and New Zealand, to mention just a few, are doing better than others. For example, let's start with Taiwan. Now, according to CNN, in December last year, it ordered all planes arriving from Wuhan to be inspected. 2, it set up an economic command center. 3, it ramped up production of personal protective equipment. And 3, it restricted all flights from mainland China, Hong Kong and Macau. Man, this name's so far. Now, these early and aggressive initiatives, they have led to a limited outbreak of just 393 confirmed cases and unfortunately 6 deaths. This is with contrast to one leader whose inactions has led to an increased number of infections and record-breaking deaths. So you can read more about women leaders, and how well they have done on this article, where we're going to place the link on the description box. So, amidst the United States of America cutting funding to the World Health Organization, which is a regrettable move, there was a press release of the united effort of the African Union, the World Food Programme, and the World Health Organization about the first United Nations solidarity flight from Addis Ababa carrying vital COVID-19 medical supplies to all African nations. Now, This crucial cargo includes 1 million face masks, as well as PPE or personal protective equipment, which will be enough to protect healthcare workers while treating more than 30,000 patients across the continent, and labs supplies to support surveillance and detection. So for more on this, I believe it's important that we get to read about this, since not so many people are talking about it. We'll place the link about this press release where you can be able to read and get to understand more about this new initiative and those people who are supporting this new initiative, and get an inkling about what is going on, especially with regards to Africa and to the entire world. And now back home. So most people, so when you visit Twitter, when you visit social media, you'll see how people are angry about some of the responses that the presidential address yesterday actually addressed. But instead of tackling in all those partisan issues that people seem to be going on and off about, I like to note one thing that is important to the mission of Hangout Café, and that is local industries and young people in local industries. You see that local industries have stepped up, and even the president has noticed that local industries have actually shown they have the capacity and the capability to manufacture important things. Like you see Kenyatta University coming up with a prototype for ventilators. You see other industries coming up with manufacturing personal protective equipment, and I think this should not stop. It's good that local industries are doing this, but they should not stop. I think this is the moment where, as we try and fight COVID-19, that the government should also be working on policies to ensure that local industries are not only protected, but their capacity right now is actually boosted, because us being able to produce some of these things only covers half the battle. Right? Because now us being able to produce, yes, but we need to take them to market. We need to make sure that we get into the international market. You can buy flow. So, and I think that we've only just covered, I think, even a quarter. We are not there yet, because right now we are at a bottleneck because we are trying to fight COVID-19. But after COVID-19, what will happen to the local manufacturing, right? There have always been initiatives about local manufacturing. But now you see you can take them seriously, since they've been able to show capacity and been able to prove themselves. Now I think it's time for us to take it seriously, to take it to the next step. So after we've won the battle against COVID, I think our lawmakers need to sit back down as they do their post-mortem and realize that young people and local manufacturing are a great asset, right? We have the labor, we have the minds, we have the innovators. Now it's time for you to tap into a potential that has not been greatly tapped, right? We have the youth bulge, where majority of the population is young, is youthful. This is not it's not a burden, right? It's not a burden. It's an opportunity. It's a chance. If you rightfully invest in this population, if you rightly invest in your young people, you'll be surprised how much they can contribute to the economy. So as we plan on policies on how to revive the economy, on policies on how to improve the economy after this COVID-19, don't forget about the young people, don't forget about the capacity, and don't forget about what local manufacturing has been able to show so far. Let us kick it into high gear, protect local manufacturing, engage young people, interact with them, see their ideas and just invest in them, and you'll be surprised how much they can surprise you. So this has been the Hangout Cafe with me, your host, Joseph Njau. See you next time.